Hello, this is Chris checking in from the iSolutions lab, and this is part 2 in a video where I am showing how to integrate FileMaker with this great API source called SMMRY, SMMRY, and you see here the link to their API and some of the information about their API. In a previous video in this series, in part 1, I showed you how to integrate in the API and to make a call using a script that I'll show you in a second. And the reason I was doing this is to do an extraction using machine learning. So I have blocks of text that I want to have evaluated by a machine learning model. And instead of embedding that model natively in using, let's say, Core ML and using the operating system to run a model, I'm going to let a model that's hosted somewhere up in a cloud respond to API calls where I pass it the block of text, and then it'll send back appropriate information in the form of JSON for me to be able to parse out. So specifically, the reason I'm excited about this specific model, the SMMRY model, is because it will take a block of text and give you back the number of sentences. Default is 7. I used 1 in the previous movie because what I did was take a 100 to 200 word text and allow users to be able to just see a 1-sentence summary inside their portal. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And in my specific case, I just needed 1 sentence. You can programmatically determine however many sentences you want to get back. But the other part is I'm also getting keywords. I got 2 to 3 keywords back, depending on what the amount of word count is and the amount of information I was able to extract. And so keyword extraction, which is also known as keyword detection or even keyword analysis, is a text analysis technique that automatically extracts the most used and important words in an expression from a text. And it uses machine learning, AI, and natural language processing, otherwise known as NLP, to break down human language so it can be understood and analyzed by machines or applications like your FileMaker application. So the SMMRY API specifically allows us to extract keywords and summary. So in the previous video in part 1, I showed you how we could use the summary, which you see here. As a matter of fact, if you will look at an example, here's the original text and here's the summarized single sentence. In addition, I also pulled in keywords that you see as I go through the various related records. And there is a script that was created that goes through each one of these records and ultimately extracts the summary and the keywords and puts them into FileMaker fields. So what I'm going to do now is emulate, and I will acknowledge that this is probably a little bit silly, but I always like this feature on Yelp, where if you go down here into the reviews, you can search within reviews. So if I type in dinner, for example, it's going to show me just the reviews that have the keyword of dinner in there. And so the way to kind of bring this functionality to life in FileMaker is I went ahead and I created a couple of quick things. So first I created let's go back into the listings table. And at the very bottom of the listings table, I added a text field called keywords global, and I used the storage option of global storage. And that means that users can interact with this field because it's globally stored from any context, and it will be session specific, and it will persist throughout every record in the found set as a result, which is perfect for essentially a portal filter. Then what I did was I created a second relationship between listings and their related relationships that you see here. This one is called Reviews Global Keyword Search. So here are the listings. That's the homes in this example. And on the right-hand side here, you see reviews, which are the, in a one-to-many fashion, the child records that are the reviews related to a listing. And I just want to search within the listings for the reviews for a listing that a record that I'm on. So I still have the primary key and foreign key as part of the match fields in my query. But in this case, I'm now matching the global field value that the users are interacting with the keywords that are being extracted, as creating their own index as they're indexed. So what I'm doing then is I put this little UI over here with this search field, and this reveals, actually what I'm doing is I'm using a slider and I'm presenting an empty portal that is using the query that I just showed you. So here I can type in something like the word cute, and as I type, it goes and sees if it can find any reviews that are related to the value that I had entered in. So for example, if I type in bathroom I can see all the different ones that are related to bathroom. And then if I click back over here, it just resets to all 21 records. And the way I did that was through you can see here, I've got a slide control. So one of the slide panels has a version of the portal that is using the query that I set up that uses the keyword filtering. It also has the keyword available. And then the other panel has the original one and a button that invokes, that does a go to object that brings up the second panel. So you notice the first panel is called All Portal and the second one is called Search Portal. So the idea here is to give users using the keywords that were extracted from the text instead of, and of course the alternative is I could have just used the natural values index that's provided, but the amount of words that would be evaluated there would be not as intelligent as keywords that were extracted from the summary instead. So again, it's a little bit of a kind of having some fun with it type of version here, but I thought everyone would appreciate seeing the example of the keyword extraction integrated through an API call into a FileMaker application. Hope that you found this series of videos useful and that you continue to explore machine learning within FileMaker applications. This is Chris from the iSolutions Lab. Thank you.